Right, hydrogen economy is another area we work in, and really that is again informed by the automotive industry work. Now, in the industry, particularly about 10 years ago, hydrogen fuel cells were the promising new technology, and the future would all be about hydrogen fuel cells. And considerable investments by the car industry have gone into hydrogen fuel cells. Not much has been seen yet, although there are a few prototypes running. And there is a general feeling now that perhaps in the shorter term battery electric vehicles are more promising. There's also a feeling that perhaps some people in the industry and some politicians have sort of focused on hydrogen fuel cells because it's a long-term thing, and therefore the real decisions can be made after they retire or after they're out of power. So there's a number of contradictory elements there, because the hydrogen and fuel cell industries themselves are very strong lobbyists. So it needs somebody to sort of unravel all those different strands and say, well, what are these technologies actually for? What can they achieve? And that's really where we see a role for ourselves. So we look at all those different strands, and we find that hydrogen fuel cells are indeed a very promising technology, but that perhaps in the interim we shouldn't just rely on hydrogen fuel cells. In the interim we should work on those other technologies we've looked at, such as low carbon internal combustion and electric vehicles. Now, the implications of moving to hydrogen fuel cells are considerable, because it means that you're beginning to move to a hydrogen economy, and that's why we've put it in the context of a hydrogen economy. And there are some interesting sort of case studies of countries that are trying to move in that direction, particularly Iceland. Also, a lot of work in hydrogen fuel cells has taken place in British Columbia, in Canada and in California. So we've tried to keep in touch with all those areas. We go to conferences in these areas, regularly visit these areas, just to keep track of that agenda and look at the implications for the UK, where also a lot of work in hydrogen fuel cells is taking place, particularly in fact in South Wales. So it could be, in the Welsh context, it's a particularly interesting technology that we keep an eye on. But we then again look at it from the economic, strategic, political, regulatory perspective, which not many people do.